You're good, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the noon Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club. It is great to be with you all, and I want to welcome you and thank you for being here on this wonderfully hot and humid day. To kick us off in the right spirit, Dr. Bill Labar is going to lead us in prayer.
As you stand to get ready for prayer, I have an announcement to make about the flag program. Okay, I disassembled flags Tuesday. We have at least 200 that need to be rebuilt, and that's before the ones come back in from the 4th of July. If we rebuild every other week, and we're going to start on the 16th, week from Saturday, we have mid-July, mid-August, mid-July, end of July, mid-August, end of August, and then we're done. Because it'll be Labor Day, and we can usually do about 60 flags in an hour from 8:30 to 9:30. So on the 16th, we need all hands on deck, 8:30, ready to go. I will be there early to get set up to build flags, okay? And I took 20 home and washed them, so I'm in both ends of the business. So anyway, flags. And before we go to prayer, we have a special prayer of thanksgiving that Sandra Davidson is back. Keep a good woman down. Join me in the spirit of prayer. Eternal God, we give you thanks for the blessings of this day. It's hot outside. It's summer. It's supposed to be hot, but we would appreciate a little break in the heat if that's possible. We give you thanks for the great work of this club over the 3 big flag holidays that we have in May and June, and ask that you be with us as we prepare for the next one that comes up on Labor Day in September. We ask your spirit to be upon our work in this community, upon our club, upon this food that has been prepared for us, to take it to the nourishment of our bodies, and keep us this day in your peace. In the name of the Christ we pray. Amen.
Dr. Parr, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Proudly. Please stand, face the flag, place your hand over your heart, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this morning, instead of Shane leading us in the song, because you know Shane has a little problem, according to Betty Caperton, with keeping up with the pace. If you've noticed her in the back, she's trying to move on. Blake Davidson is with us.
Well, I might sing one verse of America the Beautiful. Does that sound all right?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful for spacious sights, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
You're hired.
Awesome. Please be seated, y'all. At this time, we will have an introduction of guests by our secretary, Donna. Are you ready, Donna?
Yes.
Awesome.
Our guest today Our next is, he's with our speaker, and then we have Lloyd Davidson. We also have Toby King's Toby Jones, wife, Lieutenant Amanda.
All right.
And
So it is great to have all of you here. As we begin today, we have some important presentations to be made. And one of the first ones is my privilege on behalf of now past President Linda Despain to present this award to Neil and Sandra. Sandra, will you join me up here? We have a special plaque for Neil and Sandra as they have directed and led our music over the years. And this is in particular in recognition of your leadership and dedication this past year. Thank you. Sandra, we are very thankful and appreciative of your help here at the club. And if you will pass that on to Neil and give him our regards as well, please. Thank you. All right, Rick, now I need you.
Yes, sir. I didn't come dressed for it. What do I do?
Well, I would like you to invite Max to plant forward.
Oh, it is
For our
my
next
honor
presentation.
to ask. It is my honor to invite the past district governor of District 5810, Rotary International, Max to Plant, a member of this club, to come forward and.
thank you for stretching that out long enough for me. So, I am sorry I wasn't able to make it to your installation. My grandkids from Seattle had come into Vermont. Sorry, they came first, but it is an honor to pin you with the current president's pin for our Irving Las Colinas Club. So congratulations, Shane. I'll do this and then I'll check the music. There's no pin in mine. Congratulations. You're gonna do a great job.
Awesome. All right, Lieutenant Cody, do we want to stall until Amanda gets here?
It's up to you. I don't want to hold up.
No, we can do that later at the end. So we have flexibility. So now we're going to attempt to introduce our program with Terry Oliver is our vocational services and director of programs this year. So she is going to introduce our speaker today.
Thank you so much, Shane. Our speaker today is Dr. Gary Cook, who currently serves as Chancellor of Dallas Baptist University. He served for 28 years as president, and for the last 6 years, he has been serving full-time as Chancellor of the university. During his tenure, the university grew from 1,800 students to 5,300 students. And the campus expanded from 200 acres to 292 acres. The average SAT scores for incoming DBU freshmen were raised from 887 to 1,118. Dr. Cook formerly served for 10 years on the administrative staff at Baylor University, Sickle Bears, where he also served on the Waco City Council and as Mayor Pro Tem. He currently serves on the Board of Trustees for the Baylor University Medical Center, and for the last 2 years, he has served as the chairman of the International Association of Baptist Colleges and Universities. He and his wife Sheila have 2 sons and 3 grandchildren. Please help me welcome Dr. Gary Cook.
Well, it's good to be with you folks today. Thank you for letting me come. Sandra Davidson suggested this, and whenever she suggests something, they always follow through, I think. So here I am. I've done this before. It's been about maybe 15 years or so. But back then you would play the piano, and I don't think I've been there, I think twice before through the years, because I've been in school for 34 years. So of course you kind of make the rounds after a while, but it's great to be back with you. I was in Rotary when I was pastoring in McGregor, Texas, and then I moved to Waco and worked there for 10 years at Baylor. And was also in Rotary then, and became a Paul Harris Fellow. I was on the board. It was always fun. When I came to Dallas, I first joined the Downtown Rotary Club, and then they suggested I might move to the Oak Cliff Rotary Club, so I joined that for a while. But I just had the most difficult time trying to make up because I had to speak so many other places, I'd be at so many other events. So I missed all those good years of being Rotary, but it was a joy when I was younger to do that. Today, I just thought I might share a little bit with you about Dallas Baptist University, and then close with maybe a word of encouragement to you as well. So if it's okay, I'll do kind of a little bit about DBU today. Because I know people like the Allsups have sent their kids there. So the things that you did, and of course, Sandra's been involved at DBU all these years as one of our usage professors, and her husband's been involved. He's helped us in many, many ways. Lots of different connections. So our school came to Dallas in 1965. We had been a 2-year school in Decatur, Texas, beginning in 1898. And so it was just a 2-year school. And then in the 60s, they decided they needed a Baptist college in Dallas. The people at Baylor and Waco and decided that they couldn't hold all the Baptist kids that wanted to come here. And so they suggested a Baptist school in Dallas and one in Houston. So in 1963, Houston Baptist was established. In 1965, Dallas Baptist was established. And we took our charter from Decatur and became a 4-year school. So when I got to DBU, we were still, I came in 88, and then here for 23 years. We only had about maybe 300 students living on campus at the time. And so it takes a long time to kind of move into beginning a university, as you can imagine. But the school has done well through the years. The last 34 years, we've ended the year in the black every year, which is really good for universities. A lot of times universities don't end in the black. They continue to go further into debt. We paid off our debt about 32 years ago and haven't been in debt since then. We just a little bit on some land we just bought recently, but we'll have that paid off within the next year. And so every time we build a building, we decide that we want to try to pay for the building as we go. I learned that during my Baylor years from Judge McCall. Some of you maybe remember Judge Evan McCall. He told me never to go into debt for buildings unless they would be a dormitory that would then pay for itself. But the academic buildings don't generally pay for themselves. So we're a Christ Center school. We very much, the only reason we exist as a university is really because of Jesus. We have no desire just to be a private school. We were established by Baptist ministers and Baptist lay people to provide Christian higher education, so that's what we do. But only 10% of our students are ministry students. The other 90% go into business and law and school teachers and helping health professions and all sorts of things, accountants and other ways. And so we want all of them to understand how important it is to be ethical and to do things the way Jesus would do if he were here on this earth. So, you know, when you and I, about 15 years ago, I had leukemia. And I'd always been really healthy before then. I'd run in a couple of marathons and had never had any health problems, and never had surgery in the hospital. And I was on a mission trip to, with our baseball team, actually, to Guatemala. And I came back and I was really feeling bad. I just thought I'd got maybe something there. That's what the doctor thought at first, but when they did the blood work, they decided that I had leukemia, slipped me directly into the hospital from the doctor's office. A couple of days after I got back from Guatemala. And I stayed there for 32 days, trying to get better and taking lots of chemotherapy and lots of, it was just miserable actually. I had 5 months of, many of you probably had cancer or your family members had 5 months of chemotherapy, 2 years of chemo pills and remission. So, but during those days, it was very good for me to have doctors who were Christian and seemed to care about me, and nurses who at those Baylor Medical Center who were the same way. And I could tell the difference in the hospitals between the ones who would come in and try to nurture me and care for me, encourage me, and those who wouldn't. And most all the nurses were very, very kind. I don't know if there are any doctors here today. I love the doctors too, but some of the doctors treated me kind of like a rat in a experiment. You know, they come in and go today, these are your scores today. And they wouldn't say, I'm sorry, you're not doing good, or whatever. It's just like, your scores, well, see you tomorrow, you know. And so the nurses would be coming behind what they say, and I tell them, and they say, well, it's going to be okay. We'll just keep on trying to get better every day and all that. But I could just tell that many of them have been in the community, private community, that made a difference. So that's what we're trying to teach our students who come to school. We want to be Christian doctors, Christian lawyers, to do it with compassion, caring. The same way with people who are going to be in business. I know, like your son is in the business of investing and getting other people to invest. Well, when you put your money in retirement, you want to do with somebody who's going to do it and really care about what happens to you, and not just try to make a percentage off of you and try to manipulate you. You know, we've all had maybe a stockbroker. I know in my early years, I had a stockbroker who he kind of manipulated me enough to where I would finally realize he was making money every time he could change stocks. And that was how he made his money. But I didn't get that in my early years. But in all businesses, you want people who are going to be ethical. And so that's what we teach in our business courses. You know, yes, we teach everything that they would be teaching at a public university, but we also teach the young people to do it, you know, using the 10 Commandments and treating people the way Jesus would treat somebody, not taking advantage of people. And in the same way in psychology. So yes, we teach the same type of things that they would teach in psychology and other schools, but we also, for example, if you want to be healed, we feel like that yes, you may need medication, yes, you may need psychotherapy, you may need all sorts of medicine, you may need to go for counseling, but the only way really to find peace in life is to have relationships with positive heaven. So that would be the difference that we would have as a school. Some of you might wonder, well, what is the concept different there than it would be at a state university? And I hope maybe that kind of gives you an example. For example, we just say in history, we would teach all the things that people would study at one of the public schools, but we would also say to the young people that man is basically sinful, and man basically wants other people's land, other people's wives, other people's husbands. And so for those reasons, we have war today because we're basically sinful people. And so that would be our perspective. We would spend a lot of time with that, but we try to help them understand that it's just always going to be that way. It's not going to ever get much better. but that we are called to be compassionate if we're in these situations and help through all these things. So hopefully that will help you know a little bit more about how Christian higher education is different than public education. Now we have a great baseball program. I brought somebody with me today to be an example. His name is Matt Dews. He was on our baseball team, just like your son was on the baseball team. And Matt came to DBU all the way from Arizona. We get students from all 50 states at DBU. And we also have students from many other countries. I'll come back to that in a minute. But when Matt came, his brother had already been here. He had played on the baseball team. And so that he came and played on the baseball team all 4 years. He was the catcher. His junior year, actually, he got invited to go to be drafted. He decided to come back and play another year. So he came back and then he was drafted and played at the minor leagues for a couple of years. After he'd done that for a couple of years, I encouraged him to come back and work on a master's degree in business administration. So he did that. So he's done that, and Alex getting his doctor's degree. He's one of our young staff members. I'm glad to have you. But you probably read about us a little bit in the sports page, and I thought I might just mention to you about our sports teams. So we're in Division II in all of our sports, which is what medium-sized schools are often in, except for baseball. And in baseball, we're in Division I. We were able to get into this way back around 2000. And we're now grandfathered in Division I in baseball. Now you can't do this anymore. You have to do it in all the sports. But back then they would allow you to be in one sport. So that's really good for us. We don't have the finances to be in all the sports in Division I, nor the number of students there. We have about 4,300 students now, and of those, about a little over 3,000 will be undergraduates, and 1,000 will be master's students, and another 300 will be working on doctorate degrees. So, because back to baseball. So we get to play all the major teams in the country. This year we went to the regional and played at the University of Texas. They did beat us this time. Last time, we actually, about maybe 8 years ago, 10 years ago, we had a regional here on campus, and actually University of Texas played here, and we beat them, which was fun. Because when they first came, they were really rowdy in the stands. Some of your teammates probably pretty rowdy, and then the score got to be a little bit more and more, so we beat them 7-1. And so they weren't so rowdy about it again. But this time we lost to them, so they were rowdy again, and that's okay. But they beat us this time. But the year, not this summer, but the year before, we were able to do a super regional and play over in South Carolina and play against Virginia. And if we had won that final game, we would have gone to the World Series, which is really, really good for a school our size. We have a wonderful Christian coach. His name is Dan Hefner. He has been with us now for 15 years as our head coach. He had been our assistant coach for 3 years, and then he became the head coach. He's just a great guy. He's a wonderful family man. He's got 5 boys. All of them play baseball. The oldest one is now on the freshman team. He's the only one he got All-American this year as an All-American freshman, and just a really outstanding guy. So sometimes I know you read about us in the paper with that. Besides that, we have on Division II, we have men's basketball, women's volleyball, we have men's and women's soccer, men's and women's tennis, men's and women's golf, tennis, cross country, track. That's about it. We even have a bass fishing team that goes against schools. It's not like an intercollegiate athletic sport, but that's a lot of fun. So I mentioned a moment ago about the internationals. I might just mention that we have about of the 3,500 students that we have. 4,500 students that we have. About 500 of them are international students. They're from all over the world, like 40 to 50 countries. The largest country has actually been China. And the second largest has usually been Korea and then India. And we have quite a few from Brazil as well, but from all sorts of different things. And we love having these young people on our campus. It's very helpful for our American students to be with these people from other parts of the world. And hopefully it's helpful to the folks from around the world as well. So I'm going to move into something else now. But does anybody have any questions about DBU that you'd like to know a little bit more? Because we have all sorts of programs here. We've got 3 doctoral programs in leadership. In fact, Neil Duggar, who used to be a member of your group, he's in charge of our doctoral program in K through 12 program. He's done an outstanding job. I remember when he was here as the associate superintendent in Irving. And we got him to come and start teaching for us part-time. And then when he decided, finally, I said, you know, wouldn't you come full-time? We need a new dean. So he became the dean of the College of Education, did an outstanding job. Now he gave that up and decided he just wanted to work with doctoral students. So we have the 3 doctoral programs. We also have like maybe 25. How many master's programs do we have?
We have 34.
34, up to 34. When I left, I think there were 25. I haven't been president the last 6 years. I've been what's called chancellor. So but the last few years, they've increased. We have 34 master's programs. Yes, sir.
Where do you envision DBU being in the next 5 to 10 years?
That's a good question. Why don't you invite our president to come back and we'll let him tell you. That's good. Our president's name is Dr. Adam Wright, and he was one of our own students. We were so proud of him. He became president of student government and ended up getting his doctorate degree, brought him back to work there as a staff member and a faculty member, then a dean and a vice president. And so when I turned 65, I told him I think I was ready to become a chancellor. They told me they wanted me to do that someday. And so I did that. And they had a selection committee and they chose him. And he's done that for the last 6 years. So ask him. I don't feel like I should say where you're going to be. I just don't know. It's so interesting. It's like, even in the pastor, if somebody asks you the question, what's the future? If you're not the pastor anymore, I don't think I should probably share what the church should do, what the school should do. Yes, sir, you got a question. Someone? Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Coates, this club is pretty active with the Interact Club. You remember that from your time in Rotary.
Yes.
2 of our high schools, and I think we have a working. And then the Sunrise Club has a Rotaract with the University of Dallas. Does Rotary's culture and 4-way test and what we do, is that something, so do you already have a Rotaract at DBU?
No,
or
we would be
you
very open.
consider that?
Yeah, we would be very open to having one.
An opportunity?
Okay, that's a great idea. And I'll give you my card when I leave, or if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot, just to see if you thought.
And I'll give it to the president, but I can help you work through that too and tell you about it. So that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we don't have. I know Colinas used to have, in high schools, used to have key clubs. I was in key club when I was in high school years ago back in Arkansas. Well, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about how we might be. So do I have about maybe 10 more minutes? 5 more minutes? Oh, so okay. I thought I might close by telling you about how y'all can thank him for saying 5 minutes. So I just want to tell you about tell you a story about it's called Balcony People, and I wanted to share it with you. Joyce Landor wrote a book many years ago, and I read it. It had a big impact on my life, and I want to tell you about how that affects us at university. She said that in our lives we have people who are on the balcony, people who are on the main floor, people who are in the basement. Did any of y'all remember reading that book years and years ago? Okay. Well, imagine you're in an old theater that has a balcony and a main floor, maybe a basement, maybe an old church that has all 3. So there are people who are in our balcony, there are people who are on the main floor, there are people who are in the basement. In the balcony are only a few people. These are the people who love us, who encourage us, who are always there to help us along the way. most of the people in our lives are on the main floor. And so when we do good things, they applaud for us. When we do bad things, they boo and hiss. The people in the balcony are always there to support us, to encourage us, to affirm us. And even when we do not such good things, they may say, you can do it, just try harder next time. And the people in the basement, a lot of us have maybe 1 or 2, 3 people, maybe it's a major family. It's kind of always kind of just picking at you or critical of you or whatever. Then, so you're living out your life. You know, Shakespeare said all the world's a stage and all the men and women and merely players that have their entrance and their exits. And one man in his life plays many parts. So imagine that you're going through life and you're a child and teenager, young adult, middle-aged person, a senior adult. So you're going through life and there are people watching you as you live out your life, and some of them about just a few people. So in my life, my grandmother was in, and she was always there. I could always go out and count. I remember when I went to college, she would send me every week $2. And that back in '68, I could get a hamburger and French fries at McDonald's and a drink all for $2. She sent that to me, and she would send me a letter every week just telling me that she loved me and she's praying for me, and would send me $2. She did that all 4 years I was in college. And then I went to seminary, and she kept doing that. I was just shocked. She quit sending the money at seminary, but anyway, she sent it all 4 years. During those 4 years of college, she never sent any clippings from the wedding page up in Arkansas. But by the time I got to seminary, I was still single. And she started sending clippings from the wedding page. Back then, y'all remember when people, there were a lot of pictures back then. They don't do that much anymore in newspapers, but used to have a lot of them. She would send people clippings that she thought I knew. By my 3rd year, I was still not married, and she started sending clippings almost every week of people I didn't even know. Just thought she might know. So it was very encouraging to me, of course. Anyway, I did get married my 3rd year finally, and not from one of those people in the newspaper. Anyway, Emily was always there, and you know, she kept, after we got married, she kept writing every week. And so until I was 51 years of age and she was 97, she wrote a letter to us because we moved here to Texas every week. So what a person in the balcony for me. Most of the people in my life have been on the main floor, and some have been in the basement. So at a school like DBU, we want to try to be in the balcony for our young people. And our faculty, we encourage them not just to teach the class, but also to try to mentor the young people and to spend time with the young people outside of class and to be caring and compassionate. And so that is one way that we're different also than perhaps other schools. Not to say that many of the state schools don't have people who are mentoring and caring for their students too, but we say it over and over. We have all sorts of workshops on this. And we just keep trying to ingrain this in our faculty members, our full-time and our part-time. This is what we want you to do. This is different. Yes, you can do research if you want to, but you're not going to be rewarded for doing a lot of research outside the classroom. We want you to really do a great job of teaching the students, and we want you to take time after the class to spend some time with the students. So I just wanted you to know a little bit more about what we were trying to do. I thought that the story of the balcony and the basement and you kind of identify with that, because I think we've all had people in our lives who've been in the balcony, but many people on the main floor and a few in the basement. So thanks for letting me share with you today. Appreciate it very much.
Well, that was wonderful, and that's also an encouragement to us to make sure that we are being balcony people to others in our lives, to help support them in their journey as we strive to serve and help the community around us. At this time, we do have an installation that we need to take care of. So I'm going to invite Lieutenant Cody Johns and Lieutenant Amanda Johns to please come forward. Because leadership is done in teams, we want to invite you forward too. Now, Lieutenant Cody Jones is being installed as the Sergeant of Arms. This club has had that position in the past, and other years it hasn't. This is a position that I held in a previous club, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I wanted to see if we could bring that back to this club. So, Lieutenant Cody, your section of this chapter will focus on your experiences and highlight some of your responsibilities in the club. You will focus on maintaining an orderly, dignified, and effective Rotary Club meeting that makes club visitors and guests feel welcome. And because I'm disorganized and disordered, I'm going to need a lot of help from you. All right? As Sergeant at Arms, it is your responsibility to prevent any occurrence that might detract from the dignity and prestige associated with the Rotary Club. You have an important role in the success of each weekly meeting. Because of the duties you perform, the President can concentrate on conducting the meeting. You have an important role as the manner in which you perform your duties can directly affect our club's attendance records. So, my friend, do you accept these responsibilities?
I do.
Awesome. It is an honor to have you on board. Now I only have one more to install, and hopefully we can do that next week. At this time, do we have any announcements? Oh, we do have a slideshow, and we do have a few minutes, but Rick, do you have a flag update you want to give us?
No, Mr. President, I was just going to give you an update that I received a notice from the city of Irving from Jennifer down at Irving Arts Museum that says free second Saturdays. So if you want to go look, there's a new exhibit down there that talks about Black history in World War II, and I think it's a very impressive presentation. But second Saturday is going to be free, so take your family or grandkids or whatever, help me there and make it wrong here. But you got a great opportunity to go down and enjoy it. I did visit with Jennifer. She wants to come and give us an update on what's going on in the museum as a presentation.
Beautiful. Thank you.
An update on flags, Millennium Fountain. If you were at the parade, it looked amazing, having thousands of people around the fountain, around their flags. There's 72 flags currently. We have paid for 54, so there's still an opportunity. And Bob and I continue to sell. We sold 2 yesterday morning, 1 to John Drake, 1 to Frank Royal. So just because it's July and there's only 2 showings, don't give up, because we've still got 2 showings and scholarships for the kids early. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. And what you see behind you is the process of building the float and decorating the floats to get it ready for this parade. I think it was a huge success. We got the Rotary name out there. We had banners that said Irving Las Colinas Rotary and others that said Irving Sunrise. We got to work together, Lazaro and Rick and I worked to build the float with Jeff Kober, who was kind of the point person for this. He's the reason we got involved. He's the president of the Sunrise Rotary Club. But we had a good time. We had a huge chunk of the parade that was dedicated to Rotary. We had some help from Simon's Flag Company. Richard was humming along in his fun 3-wheel vehicle, and I hope we have a shot of that in here. But we were well represented by Rotarians. There was a huge amount of people that came out to participate. We had a good time. I had my kids on the float, and my daughter from Sweden. There we are. Check that out. So, and you might recognize those flags from our flag program.
The float looked great.
Yeah. I don't know about those people on the golf cart, but woo, look at that. That's slingshot. That's pretty. Great. So I appreciate everyone. We had some huge donations of candy thanks to Bob Bourgeois. We had a bunch of people. Sylvia even came out and helped us and brought her son, so we had a little more muscle when we were building the float. So it took some effort to get the parade going and arranged, but we think it was important to get the Rotary name out to the community, and with our flag program, it just made sense to be part of this parade. So we're hoping we can do this again in the future. And now it is 1 o'clock, so I'm going to keep us on time. I invite you to please stand, and Lieutenant Cody, our Sergeant at Arms, will lead us in the four-way test.
Please join me in the four-way test of the things we speak, say, or do. First,
Is it true?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it be beneficial?
fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. Our meeting